Hi, I'm Bentley's mom. We're going to be doing chapter 12, lesson 1, line plots. So I'm going to do the guided practice. I'll do the guided 1 and 2, and then I will do the independent 1 and 3. Then independent 1 and 3, and then I'll do a couple hot problems, I think 7 and 9. Okay, that's what I'll do today. So that's his guided. Okay, so on this, we're going to make a line plot given the data. So it says make a line plot for the set of data, describe the data, include the measures of center and the variability. That means we have to find a whole list of things. So let's first do the line plot. So it says calories in servings of peanut butter. So I'm going to go down in columns, okay, and then I'm going to circle them as I go down, and I'm going to make X's on this line graph. So what we're going to do on this line plot is we're going to first draw a line, and then they kind of did this for you. So they set your interval at 10. So make sure you just stay at 10. So 60, 170, 160, 170, 180. It's going by tens. Okay, so the first column says 190. So I'm going to make an X by 190. Okay, and then 200 X here. 185. Now 185 is not in here, so I'm just going to go between 180 and 190 right here. That's my 185. And then 190. Okay, and then it says 160. 185. 200 and 185. Okay, and then we have 210. And 190, 190, and 200. And then we have the next one, we have 210, 190, 210 again. I'm going to erase this. And then 200 right here. Okay, so looks like I have 1 at 160, 3 at 185, just right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at 190, 4 at 200, and 3 at 210. Okay, and so that there is your line plot. Okay, now we're going to find the measures of center. Or in high school, it's called the measures of central tendency. So we're going to do the mean, median, and mode. Okay, so to do the mean, we have to add all of these numbers up. 160 plus, and if you have a graphing calculator like this or a good calculator, you can just put in 160 plus 185 times 3 plus 190 times 5 plus 200 times 4 plus 210 times 3, and then hit enter. And you're going to get 3,000, or you can just add them all up, 3,095. And there are 16 pieces of data, so we're going to divide that by 16, and we get about 193.44, and that's our mean. Okay, now we're going to find the median, which is our middle number. So there's 16 pieces of data, so if you cut 16 right in the middle, that's going to be 8, so it's going to be between 8 and 9. So the 8th and 9th. So I'm going to go 8 places here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is right here. And then you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here. Okay, so this is actually the 8th and the 9th piece, and they're both at 190. So it's just 190. If those were different numbers, you'd add them and divide by 2. So there's our median. Okay, now we're going to do the mode. So Bentley, which one is the mode, or the one that occurs the most often?
190.
Yep, 190, because that has 5. So that's the most. So there's 190. So there's our measures of center, the mean, median, and mode. They're all really close to about 190, okay? Between 190 and 195. So now we're going to find the quartile 1. Okay, so quartile 1. So now we're going to cut this in half here. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 185 and 190. There's a tie. So we're going to add those up and divide by 2, which is going to give us 187.5. And without a calculator, hopefully you can see the number in between 185 and 190. That's Q1. Then quartile 3, or Q3, we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 this way, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those guys tie. They're both 200, so it's just going to be 200. Or when they tie, again, you add them up and divide by 2, and you will get 200. Okay, so that is quartile 3. Now, to find the interquartile range, okay, remember what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 200 minus 187.5. Okay, that's going to give us 12.5. That's our interquartile range. And then let's find the actual, just the range. The range is going to be our biggest number, which is 210, minus our smallest number, which is 160. So our range is going to be, Bentley, what's 210 minus 160?
Totally 50.
50. That's right. Okay. So then we are going to do the outlier. Bentley, can you see an outlier?
No.
Let's see. We'll look at the data.
160.
Yeah, 160. That's 25 from 180. So 160 is going to be our outlier. Okay, and 210 is only 10 from 200, so that's not an outlier. Okay, so this is all of the data. Again, the mean, median, and mode, those are the measures of center, and the variability would be the range, the quartile 1, quartile 3, and then the interquartile range, and then you can show the outlier as well. Okay, so that's information. And then if it wants you to write anything about it, if you're ever asked any of the problems to describe it, you can say, the measure of center, all of these are around between 190 and 195. That's a good description. So there's a lot of ways you can describe this. All right, and then the next question, this is the guided practice, number 2. It says, let's see, how is using a line plot useful to analyze data? Okay, so why would we use a line plot? So a couple things. It shows the measures of center. So you can kind of look and see, if you have a graph like this, and there's, X is here, X is here, you can kind of see, where the measures are. Okay, so it shows the measures of center, kind of your mean, median, and mode. You kind of get a good picture by looking at it. What else did it do? It'll also show an outlier. So if there's an X like way over here or way down there, you could also say it shows outliers pretty easily, because you'll see an X way down here that's nowhere close to the rest of the data. Another thing you could say, it's a very good visual. Okay, I would say it's a very good visual. It's a good visual for a bar graph. So if you look, sometimes in, magazines or online, you'll see them, comparing things. And if you kind of draw bars like this, and sometimes they'll make the bars different colors, it's really easy to kind of see, how tall they are, to the amounts. So those are reasons. Again, it's an open-ended, just kind of your opinion on why you would use this. So I think bar graphs can show information really well and fast. So, okay, that's the guided practice. So we're going to go to the independent practice. Okay, so the independent, we're going to do 1 and 3. Okay, so it says number 1. Okay, the directions say make a line plot for each set of data. Find the mean, the median, mode, range. Oh, it doesn't ask you to find the mean. Just the median and mode, range, and any outliers. What?
In 10 minutes.
Okay. So I'm going to list this data. Here's a bar graph. Okay, and it writes it for you. Or sorry, not the bar graph, the line plot. It does 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so that's drawn for you. And then it asks you to make a line plot using this. So I'm going to go through the data. They list it for you. It says 7, 7, 12. So I'm going to do an X on 7, 7, 12. Then 10, 5, 10. 10, 5, 10. And again, I would circle these as you're going through it so you don't accidentally, count 2 twice or miss one. 5, 7, 10. Those are the next 3. So 5, 7, 10. And then 9, 7, 9. So 9, 7, 9. And then 6, 10, 5. So 6, 10, 5. And then 8, 7, 8. 8, 7, 8. Okay? So let's count those. Bentley, will you count those X's for me? I'm going to count the data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
18.
18. So I have 18. Okay, so the total is 18. Okay? Bless you. And, okay, so there's the line plot. Then let's find the median and the mode. So the median, we're going to find the middle number. And the mode's the one that occurs most often. So the middle number, if there's 18, it's going to be between the 9th and the 10th X. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here's the 9th one. And if you came this way, the 10th one's right here. If you came this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, or if you went from top to bottom, you'd still get in this. So between those two, it's 7 and 8. So what's the number between 7 and 8? You can do that in your head. It's 7.5 or 7.5. So that's the median. Okay. Then the mode, the one that occurs most often. So which one is that? What's the tallest bar? We were to draw a bar. 7. Okay. And you can see those are really close. Okay. All right. Then it says show any outliers. So are there any outliers here? Now it looks like there's one between each. This 12, there's no 11, but how many does it skip?
Only 1.
Just 2. From 10 to 12 is 2, right? So there's just
So it's
one
only double,
that's
so
missing.
It would not be.
So I would say that there's no outlier here. So you would just say no outlier. Okay. And then it says describe the data using them. Okay. So I would just say the length of summer camp, which is what this is. So you could say the length of summer camp or camp is around 7 to 8 days. And then you could say, where it's mostly 7 and, the middle is around 7.5. So something like this, any kind of conclusion is good. Okay, so that's number 1. Now let's do number 3. Okay, am I writing big enough, Bentley? Will you look at the camera? Okay, the line plot shows the number of songs in playlist. Describe the data, include the measures of center and the variability. Okay, so this one's going to take a while. So all the measures of center are the mean, median, and mode. Okay, so on this line plot, it looks like it's going by ones. On here, each little tick mark they have on the graph, a tick mark's like that little line, is 1. They only wrote every other one, but there's little marks for every one. So I'm going to write this out in list form because you can see it, you can see it on this, but you need to be able to take the information from a line plot and also make it a list, and you need to be able to take a list and make it a line plot. So I'm just going to go the other way for this problem since I did number 1 I took a list and made it a line plot. And now I'm going to take the line plot and make it a list. Okay, so, and you can go right off the line plot. I'm just going to show you how to make the list from that. So there's one x at 25. Okay, and then we have 36. There's two 38s, 38, 38. Then there's 39, 39. Then we have three 40s, 40, 40, 40. We have 45. And then two 47s. Okay, so there's our data. Okay, so now we're going to find the mean, median, and the mode. Okay, so the one that takes the longest should be the mean, because we have to add all these up and then divide by how many there are. So Bentley, count up how many there are. I'm going to do 25 plus 36 plus 38 times 2 plus 39 times 2 plus 40 times 3 plus 45 plus 47 times 2, and I get 474 when we add all these up, divided by
12.
You got 12? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep.
16 and a half minutes.
Okay. And we have 39.5. So there's the mean. Okay, the median is the middle. So if there's 12, it's going to be between the 6 and 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's between the 6th and 7th number. And between those two, what's the number between 39 and 40, Bentley?
39 and a half.
Good, 39 and a half, 39.5. Now the modes when it occurs most often, it looks like 40 occurs the most. There's 3. I don't think any of the other ones have 3, so it's going to be 40. Okay, so the measures of center are 39.5, 39.5, and 40. They're all really close. Okay, then it says, okay, the variability. So let's do the range. So the range, we're going to take our biggest number, which is 47, and we're going to subtract the smallest number, which is 25, and I get 22. So that's our range. Okay, so the range is what's the distance from the smallest to the largest piece of data, and it's 22. All right, then we have, let's do quartile 1. Okay, so we're going to find the median was right here. So now we're going to take and find the middle here. So we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So those are a tie. It's in between 38 and 38. So we just get 38 for quartile 1. And then quartile 3, we're going to do the same. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's in between 40 and 45. So again, you would add those up and divide by 2. But the middle number between 40 and 45 is 42.5. Okay, so here's quartile 1. Here's quartile 3. To find the interquartile range, you subtract. So we're going to do 42.5 minus 38, and we get 4.5. Okay, and then, okay, the last thing we need to do is find if there's any outliers. So are there any outliers? So let's look. Between 47 and 45 is only 2. But between 36 and 25, that's 11. That's pretty far. So I would say that 25 is the outlier. Now, to technically find it, you have to take the interquartile range and multiply that by 1.5, if you remember that. This is kind of, I don't think you need to worry about this, but this is...
But it won't be anyways, because even if it was 5 times 1.5, it would end up being 7.5, and it's an 11 difference. So yes, 25.
So, well, I multiplied this. This is the interquartile range by 1.5. This is technically how you find the outlier. And you get 6.75. So it is more than 6.75 from that. So the outlier is 25. That's how you technically check it. For this level, I think it's good for you just to see if there's a number that's really low or really high. Okay, now let's do Okay, so that's all the information, and then it just says, describe the data. So I would describe it and say, you know what? It's all right around 40, 39.5. Between 39 and 40, all the center of the data is there. The mean, median, and the mode. There is a pretty big range, also because there's an outlier. So you can just write in words pretty much everything we did here. Would work. Okay, turn the page. We're going to do the hot problems, and then we'll be done.
20 minutes.
Okay, thanks. All right, so we're going to do the hot problems 7 and 9. So it says, so this is the hot. We'll do number 7. It says, Dwayne is analyzing the data in the line plot. Find his mistake and correct it. Okay, so if you look at it, the data is 21, 22, 22, and you can look at the line plot. There's 3 23s, and then the 29 is way down the road on the line plot here. Okay, so he wrote the median and the mode are 23. Okay, 23, that is the mode, occurs most often. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The median is also 23, so that's correct. But then Dwayne said the outlier of the data set is 20. Okay, so is the outlier 20? Well, 20 is not even a piece of the data. There's no X on the number 20. So this is where he made the mistake. So you would say 20 isn't even in the data set. You could say something like that, or you could say, no, 29 is the outlier, or you could say, no, 29 is the outlier, not 20. Okay, anything along those lines is good. So that was his mistake. Okay, number 9 says, hot problem number 9, there are several sizes of flying discs in a collection. It says the range is 8 centimeters. So they gave us the range is 8 centimeters. And it says the median is 22. So the median is 22 centimeters. The smallest size is 16. So the smallest is 16 centimeters. The question is, what's the largest? So we have to find the largest. Okay, now, if you know what the range is the largest minus the smallest, and that gives you the range. So going opposite of that, if the smallest is 16, wouldn't the largest just be 16 plus 8? So 16 plus 8 is 24, because the difference between the smallest and the largest has to be 8. Okay, so if you kind of go backwards to find the range, you take the biggest, 24 minus 16, and I do get 8. Okay, so in this case, we did not need this information. Okay, so what I would do if you're reading problems and there's information that essentially you just don't need, you can put an X over it if that helps you. Just so they probably threw that in to confuse you. They're telling you that's just the middle of the data, but for what we needed to find, we didn't need that at all. Okay, we just needed those two numbers. Okay, so your answer is 24, and that's it. 24 centimeters. Okay, have a great day. Bye.
Bye.